Hey everyone, this is Arado, and we're here to talk about the recent Linwood family banner in the JP side. And this may help you decide on whether you wanted to still pull in the Robin family banner in Global or not. Since this is a fairly recent banner that I wasn't able to cover this when I released my review for the Robin family banner, and hopefully this may add some information for you to see whether that's enough for you to pull certain characters from the banner or not. So I will start running through the what they can do, the ability and skills, and then at the end, I'll briefly discuss what I think on how the current Robin family banner would help each of the characters. So first off with Joe, she relies on her overdrive gauge to gain certain buffs in battle. So for her ability 1, she starts the battle with full overdrive gauge, and if her overdrive gauge is full, she gains a moral up extra large effect for 1 turn, and then if the overdrive gauge is not full, she gains a guard up large effect for 1 turn. So the buff takes effect at the start of turn. So depending on how Joe's overdrive gauge looks like is when what kind of buff she would get. For ability 2, she starts the battle with BP plus 1 and then ends the turn with every end of turn with BP plus 2. And then lastly, ability 3 is protect high tension. For her skill number 1, it's a single target skill, heat and sun, and then it gives her self heal small effect to self. And then skill number 2, it's a heat and cold element AoE, and then does a moral down effect to all enemies. It's a medium effect for 2 turns. And then lastly, it's a cold and sun element. It's a delay skill, single target, that gives her damage block for 2 turns. So damage block provides a 100% damage mitigate to incoming attacks for Joe. So this style, if you use her for farming, she would deal pretty good damage because on top of having protect high tension, she also gets a moral up extra large effect all the time because auto doesn't use overdrive, so her overdrive gauge will remain full. For hard content, she may situationally be missing some guard up buff because if you wanna save her overdrive gauge where you wanna do a burst with the party or you just can't attack, like say if you're in Tiger's Den and facing a really hard boss battle, that may be putting her with the moral up buff rather than the guard up. However, because of skill number 3, you can utilize her overdrive being full, that you can use that immediately and then put her with damage block for 2 turns. So that's one thing how you can work around with her overdrive gauge so that you can have which buff that you prefer for the turn. Next up is Liz. So for Liz, Liz and next one is Polka. They would have kind of similar effect for ability 1 and ability 3. So just to keep in mind on that one. For Liz, she has a lot of mitigate damage. So for her ability 1, she has a large mitigate damage, and then she nullifies cold element, and then she counters with direct attacks. For ability 2, whenever she's attacking, she gets BP plus 1. And then when she uses a physical skill, she gets a Dex and Int buff to herself for large effect. Or when she's using a magic, she gets a self-heal effect extra small to herself. And then ability 3, she gets another mitigate damage of large effect, and then a turn starts, she gets a heat up medium effect, which takes effect maximum 5 turns for the battle. And as you know, heat up lasts for the entire battle. So after turn 5, she would get, I believe, 50% attack passive. And then for skill number 1, it's a pierce single target and then grants herself with guard up medium effect for 1 turn. And then skill number 2 and skill number 3 are both column skill. The third one giving guard up extra large effect to the party. So she has a lot of defensive capability, and with inherit, say, outside of Robin Girl, of course, she would have some kind of healing spell from the latest Liz, not Robin Girl, and or she can do debuffing with Water Hammer. So and then you can use, I think, Squall Plus for AoE farming if you really want to. But with her being designed as a column farmer, I think it's better to have her focus as a column farmer instead. And lastly, we have Chef Polka. So Chef Polka, so like I said, Liz and Polka's ability 1 and ability 3 kind of looks the same, but works just a tad different. So for Polka, ability 1 is mitigate damage, large effect, nullifies heat element, and then he counters direct attacks. For ability 2, when his attack hits, grants himself with heal, extra small effect, and BP plus 1. And then when he's using a healing skill, it grants himself with HP regen. It gives like an extra small healing effect for 5 turns. And then ability number 3, it's an attack up with extra large effect. And then a turn starts, he gains a defense up medium effect. Again, maximum of 5 turns. And like heat up, defense up lasts for the entire battle. So skill number 1 is a healing skill. It's a single target heal, and also the target gets an HP regen. So the HP regen is extra small effect for 3 turns. Skill number 2 is a slash and heat for column attack. And then skill number 3 is a heat element, fast and single target. And then he buffs everyone except for himself an attack boost, extra large effect for 1 turn. So this Polka became a good support because of the healing skills that he has, and he kind of took over Filler Miria with the HP regen capability, and that's on top of his healing skill, which is really good. So yeah, that's the latest Linwood banner in JP. So now, how does that affect how does the Robin family banner affects these characters? So for Robin Gal, aka Joe, sorry for the spoiler for those who haven't read the story yet. So for Robin Gal, so it allows Joe to do Sparkling Eyes for turn 1 and turn 3. Of course, given there is a somebody who can cleanse out Joe from paralyze. And then because this Joe only starts with 11 BP at the start of battle, that she is unable to use a Blazing Core if you inherit that to this style. However, you know, there is a possibility for Global to change that so Joe can start with BP plus 2 so that she can use Blazing Core, you know, as an inherit. And then Robin Girl, aka Liz, so it allows this style for agility debuffing. And just like Joe, this Liz is unable to use Dragon's Frenzy because of the BP requirement. And this gives Global some chance to change Liz so that she starts with an extra BP plus 1. So that if you inherit Dragon's Frenzy, then she would be able to use it. And lastly, I think the most hype one is Chef Polka. So with Rag Robin, having the change for Stillblade Phoenix, doing the same thing as Stillblade Light with the party heal, free party heal rather, that it kind of completes Chef Polka's kit in a way that he can focus in healing with Stillblade Phoenix, and then he can also taunt. So if ever there is any heat element, that he would take 0 damage, or if it's a direct attack, that he would be able to counter those direct attacks, just like, you know, how UDX Mirza works. And then the good thing with this Polka is he also has a single target healing. So if ever somebody got died for whatever reason, that Polka is able to heal them back to life, which Mirza is unable to do. So yeah, I think personally, not just because I was able to pull Rag Robin, but if you're missing with user characters that have Still Blade Light, um, it would be good to pull Rag Robin, knowing that this Polka is coming into the future, that you know this Polka can really take advantage of that skill. For Liz, because of the agility debuffing and its small effect, it's kind of not that important, excuse me, compared to say if it's medium or large effect. Because as you know, in the current setup for the bosses, they cleanse a lot of the debuff. So if you want to do some debuff to help with the damage or stuff, help mitigate the damage further from the enemy, then might as well do a medium or a large effect before it gets cleansed the following turn. For Robin Gal, she just continues to become a really excellent farmer. Not so much with the damage, but rather covering a lot of element. And there is hope that maybe she this style would be able to use Blazing Core as a turn one skill, or if not, then she can just focus in using her skill 2 as an AoE skill, and then maybe inherit Flambe Sorbet as a fast AoE skill instead. So yeah, that's my thought with the Robin family banner. I think Rag Robin would be a good pick to have, but if you don't have any of the Robin family characters, I think it would still be okay. It's just that Polka would be doing something else other than um, focusing on healing. Before I end my video, I wanted to give a shout out to Fuluyano-san. So the Joe art that you see to the right, this is made by Fuluyano-san. If you have the chance, please give Fuluyano-san's Twitter page a visit. Um, Fuluyano-san does a lot of art, ranging from romancing Saga to different games. Like I saw some Monster Hunter art as well, and yeah, everything looks really good. And I'm thankful for Fuluyano-san to allow me to use his art for videos and in streams. But yes, and of course, as you can tell, the virtual art is from Denny Draws. So yes, thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in the next stream or video.